everybody, welcome to Smashing Game Time. We are three brothers. We're not three brothers.
I'm technically a brother.
You can say we are normally three brothers.
I'm your host, Nick. Below me is my brother, Josh. To my left is my brother from another mother, Ryan, a.k.a. BlackShinobi956.
Correct. You got it.
Got the number right for once. Shinobi, a.k.a. Ryan, agreed to come on. Jake couldn't be on today. Ryan, how you doing, man? We're so happy to have you here as a guest host.
I am great, and I am excited to talk about games. Talking about games is my favorite thing, so I'm pumped.
That was the fastest I've ever gone to feeling awkward in the intro. The words left my lips, and I was like, "Oh no!" But
okay, I got you. You're still technically correct. You were still technically correct.
Hey everybody, we are counting the 5 most influential Hideo Kojima games. We're not doing book club today because I've been sick and Jake is out. We will get back to book club for Death Stranding next week. We've just gotten we've got the bug. Everybody's got the bug.
No, let's be honest. So Nick has been sick and Jake is actually out, but they both had it perfectly planned so they didn't have to play this week. So I'm the only one I think who's doing the assignment.
Josh is the one playing the game. I'm the one reading the synopsis, and Jake is like just guessing at this point.
Jake's just winging the whole thing. Yeah, I watched it on YouTube a couple times.
But you know what? That's basically every fucking book club ever. There's only like 1 or 2 people actually reading the book. Everyone else is just there for the wine.
I am appreciating everything that's going on right now in this game. I'm more upset now playing it than I was finding out that it was a walking simulator, because it is honestly, yes, it is a walking simulator. Yes, you are delivering mail practically, but by God, it is so much more than that. And it was just thoroughly under, what's the word I'm looking for?
Underappreciated?
Yeah, it's definitely underappreciated for what's there.
I feel that too, and I've got more to say on it, just in general, like the general feel of what like everyone was saying about it when it came out. But we will get back to Death Stranding next week when Jake is here. Before we get into Hideo Kojima, man, this sickness is really eating me up. As always, we are a Trident Network podcast. Go check out our siblings; they are awesome. Hey, we're everywhere you get your podcast. We're on Apple, we're on Spotify, we're on YouTube. We're on YouTube Podcasts is what I guess they're going to call Google Podcasts from now on. I don't know. Go find us there, please. Hey, fuck the algorithm, tell a friend. That's right. Word of mouth is king here. We feed off of word of mouth. So go ahead and tell your friends about the show if you're having a good time. Hey, there are video games to talk about. Josh, what are you playing?
Honestly, nothing's really changed. I do my weekly, daily Star Rail Genshin Impact. I've been playing Apex Legends. I'm Gold 1, almost Plat 4, so we're getting back there. Still trying to finish the main campaign for Professional Mode for RE4 Remake so that I can finally sit down and do Separate Ways, DLC, and then, of course, Death Stranding.
Anything about RE4 or Death Stranding standing out to you this week? Or anything you wanted to share with the class?
I mean, other than my rant about people underappreciating Death Stranding, because so far it's really good. I think RE4 Remake also is not as appreciated as it's been out, especially now with Separate Ways coming out. Separate Ways definitely makes me love and appreciate Resident Evil 4 more than any other remakes they've done so far, I would say, other than maybe one.
I think the first half of the year, this year, gaming wise, has kind of gone back. Like, we have the recency bias, so everyone, even Baldur's Gate, I feel like has kind of fallen off a little bit since we've had Starfield come out. Forza not so much, but you know, just with the year getting busier, we got a Call of Duty coming out here in a few weeks. Spider-Man. The number of people not talking about Hi-Fi Rush, still, I get it, but also still pisses me off.
I guess it's just because there's so much coming out that we're all anticipating that it's it's hard to pick. Like, I know for sure I want to play Armored Core 6 so badly, but I also can't justify dropping $60-$70 on it right now, just because I know that everybody's done talking about it. The hype is over. Honestly, at this point, I'm actually, believe it or not, I'm using my local library. Their copy of it has been out for a while and it's not going to be done. However, I found another resource that they have where I could have another library send me their copy, and I'm currently waiting on that. Then Starfield, same thing. I can't justify dropping the $80 for it. So I'm like, dude, you know what? I'm just going to wait for it to go down in price. By Christmas time, I'm sure I could pick it up for $30.
Game Pass.
I don't. I got rid of GameFly, Nick. I cannot justify going to get Game Pass.
Game Pass is so much cheaper. I thought of you the other day, though, because I was at my local library, and I was like, where are their games? And I was wandering for a little bit, and then I was like smack dab in the face with them before I realized it. And the first game I saw was Forspoken, so I had a good giggle about that.
Well, currently, the only game I have right now is my Dead Space. I got to finish that up so I can return that. But no, I'm hoping I'm 24 hours away from getting my Armored Core 6.
Fingers crossed for you, Josh.
So I'm trying to be efficient and cheap as possible. I can't, like I said, I can't justify $60 a game, $70 a game right now. I could, I just don't want to.
Mm-hmm.
I gotcha. Anything else, Josh?
No, that's it. That's my rant for the day.
Okay, I'll do mine real quick because I really want to hear what Ryan's been playing, because he's been playing some games that I really want to hear about, especially that last one, because I have some fond memories of that last one. So I've been playing I've gone off the beaten path. I know last week I promised my review for Dune and my preview for Last Train Home would be out. Again, I got the sickness. I'm just going to lean on that for the rest of the show. But let me go through these. So Last Train Home is an RTS / like base management. And the thing that sticks out to me about it, it's World War I setting. You are part of a convoy. I believe you're escaping Russia to go into Czechoslovakia. The history of it's a little muddied on me because nothing's in English, and I just wasn't in a reading mood when I sat down to play it. But that's the gist of it I got from the mission. So it does the like Call of Duty thing where like someone's talking and you've got a map playing out of like the conflict. Very Call of Duty of them. But so you go out, you have like, you set up a unit, which I think can have up to 9 people in it, depending on the mission. And it's an RTS game. You put people in cover. Different people have different abilities. So like you might have a grenadier who can help get machine gunners out of a machine gun nest. You have a scout who can use their binoculars to scout out an area ahead. You have a machine gunner who can set up a nest. And that's been fun. That's been a lot of fun. It's reminding me a lot of Iron Harvest. And you guys know how much I love Iron Harvest.
Dead game.
There are no giant mechs, sadly, but there is a train with a giant mortar gun on it, so I'm here for it. And I don't think this is based on any actual history. I think this is all fictionalized, because at one point they do say, hey, this is a fictionalized story in the middle of the pre-mission story. So I'm like, wait, what?
Like just casually in conversation, or
during like the mission thing, they're like, oh, this is based on a fictionalized story, because part of it also plays out kind of like a History Channel thing, which is something I really dug about Age of Empires 4, where you would play a mission and then that game would actually give you like something that they shot, like, oh, when they built the castle, they built the walls up like, and that was something like I need to go back and play that, because that's something I really dug about that Age of Empires 4. Other games I've been playing, No Sun to Worship. This is a follow-up from the developer who did Undetected, which I believe I reviewed. It's either before summer or it was last year. This is a much better game than Undetected. Undetected was heavily influenced by Metal Gear Solid. This one is more heavily influenced by Splinter Cell. And had, like, if you remember the first, well, all of the Splinter Cells, they had the little sound meter. So if you like, you made sounds with your footstep, it did the like the little ticks. It also has a shadow meter, which I don't think it works properly, but like if you're like in a very bright spot, or if you're somewhere out in the open, it'll be higher. But like, hey, they can see you, idiot, get the fuck out of there. So it plays like Splinter Cell, but the mood is very Metal Gear Solid. The enemies are spooky guys that have like glowing eyes. There are robot ones that are tougher to kill. And basically, you're going through each mission. There are different prisoners on each mission. So like the first one I played had 3, second one I played had 5. But instead of rescuing these prisoners, you are punishing them. And I'm not trying to, not broadening my vocabulary. Like, you go up to them and the button says punish, and then you choke them out or you stab them or you do whatever you got to do to punish them. And
Jesus.
then like when they're dead, it was like punish achieved or something like that. Very weird, dark game. The maps are they're not the most open thing, but there are multiple ways to get around. So it's also giving me like slight Hitman vibes. It times you. If you get caught, you're basically going to die because the enemy's guns are a lot tougher. Hell, when you start the game, instead of like the play game, punish. So they're very serious about punishing people. They're like, oh, we're going to punish these guys. I reached the 3rd mission, which is the prison, and there are 7 different guys I have to punish, which is a sentence I can't take back. It's out in the air. I have to go punish 7 guys and then escape. And it's very fun. It's got a PS1 graphic looking aesthetic to it. I think it was $5 or $10, but this is, no Sun to Worship. It's scratching a weird itch that I didn't know I needed to have scratched. Very punishing, a lot of fun, very challenging. I'm playing on normal mode, and the other achievements say there's a hard mode. And I'm like, okay, I'm being challenged here. How hard is this fucking hard mode? So hopefully this feels like one I'm going to 100%. We'll see.
Please tell me when it says punishment achieved, it's in like Reading Rainbow font, just like comes across the screen.
It's very cute. It's a very cute font that comes up. It's like, oh, guys.
Oh, it's almost like Mortal Kombat, like they're like friendship fatalities.
They have the baby ones too, don't they? The babyology, baby whatever it's called.
Yeah, whether the baby ones too. They both of them, yeah.
The guy from Mortal Kombat comes out when you snap. Whoopsie. It's just so weird because the very first thing you see on the first level is one of these prisoners. Like, it's very good about setting that up. Like, okay, this is your object, because you start it, you're in this room with him, you see the exit behind him, you see that there are 3 of them, like the other 2 are spread around somewhere. You're like, okay, I'm gonna go save this guy. And then you see the punish, and you're, oh fuck, I gotta punish him. But the other I meant to get off this game, but there's one more really cool thing. The other cool thing about this game is that it lets you use your health to make your footsteps silent. And that it also lets you, any downed enemies, like it lets you pick them up for health. So instead of like, oh, I need to hide this body, oh, I'm picking this body up for health, and it disappears. So I really like the way it's playing with health and changing that concept. Because, most games, it's just like, oh, here's your health, don't get hit. Whereas this one's like, okay, here's your health. Manage this ability you have. Oh, you got hit. If you use this ability, you're going to die. So I think that's pretty cool. And I wonder how that plays into the harder mode. But I'll have more on that hopefully soon. And then the last game I played I've been playing a little bit of Cocoon. This is from, I want to say it was the lead developer from Playdead for Limbo and Inside. This might be close to the top of my game of the year. I've only played a few hours of it, but it's so complex and simple at the same time. This is a top-down game. You're a little bug on this strange world, and it's also really hard to explain. So seriously, it's a 2-button game. You move, and then you press A to interact with stuff. And you have these orbs that you carry around, and they're worlds. Let's say you go into this world. Oh, hey, there's this puzzle on here where I need to fill it up with water. Oh, hey, there's some water in the water world that's sitting there. Or there's this thing in the water world sitting there. So you go back and forth between these orbs. You're carrying them around the world with you. But the game's also really smart about like guiding you in the right direction. The puzzles are challenging. And this being a game from a developer that broke off from somebody else, and it sounds like it was a bad divorce from these guys. I've already got my pretentious read on it already. My pretentious read of what the developer is trying to say to us. I'll keep it short, but I think it's hey, when you set out on your own, like you are basically carrying the world on your back, trying to learn these new things, trying to, survive on your own. It feels like the world is on your back. Again, I've only played 2 hours, so maybe I'm reading too much into what I've played. But man, there's boss fights in there. So every time you get to a new world, you enter it, and the boss of the level is like, he presents himself. He's like, if you come into my world, I'm gonna fuck you up, and then he disappears. And also, the game there's no dialogue, there's no nothing. You're on your own, so it's perfect. It's got that limbo inside aesthetic where it's like, nope, you're gonna interpret this. I'm not saying shit to you. Get the fuck out of here. Go play the game. It's a lot of fun. It's simple. I think everyone should play it. Josh, it's on Game Pass.
So moving
now you can't say no.
There's nothing else to talk about.
And you know what? I'll probably be playing Cocoon on stream right after this. So if you are listening live, stay tuned.
Any chance you remember which studio they broke off from?
So they broke off. The Cocoon people broke off from Playdead.
What did Playdead make?
Playdead were the Limbo and Inside folks.
Okay. Did they also make Somerville?
Somerville was another person that broke off from Playdead.
Okay.
And Somerville, so now looking at Somerville, having these two to compare to each other, and this is the last pretentious thing I'll say, I think Somerville wanted to be a little too complex, wanted to tell more of a story instead of, just kind of leave stuff open to interpretation. There is a lot to be interpreted, but they wanted to be like, no. Here's your goal. Your family was stolen. Go save them. And
I've got thoughts about Somerville, but I don't. I don't want to go there.
Ahead. Dish them out, because I've also got thoughts about Somerville. I think it's a game that's too big for its britches.
Mm-hmm.
I think that they kind of fumble the bag for the themes they're going for, and this is something that I've discussed with Josh about Death Stranding. This is another game where Hideo Kojima broke off with Konami. It's a game about connecting and communicating and, being in the world. And I believe that Somerville is this game where we go through these decrepit places that are usually like not the center of a community, but like a place where the community gathers, and we're seeing all these places empty. And you've beat the game, right?
Yeah, I have.
Spoilers for Somerville for anyone watching or listening. So the ending, when you're standing in line with all the other people fighting the 3 towers, and first of all, having the 2 endings was a terrible idea, but so I got the ending where you don't do the code, you go back to who you think is your family, and you just live your life. And my read on that ending is that, well, if you don't collaborate, you're just going to be in your own little world, and you're going to suffer and die alone in your own little world. I don't remember the other ending. I watched it right after, but I think it's a story that calls for collaboration, but I think they do a terrible job of drawing that conclusion.
Yeah.
What were your beefs?
Just, it's not even like that deep. I just felt like I played through the prologue of a story, and right when it was going to get good, they ended the game. Like, I didn't do all that stuff for you to not give me superpowers and let me do some cool stuff. I don't care about the kumbaya holding hands. like you're building me up to, like, you're giving me all these different powers, and I just felt like I never really got to, like, I never really got the climax that the game was trying to build for. And that's just me, though. That's just me.
They give you all those powers, they shoot you off, and you're like, oh, this is gonna be cool. Like, this is gonna be amazing. Like, oh my god, I'm so overpowered. We just had this amazing moment where don't you get shot into the sky? You get shot onto a floating island or something like that.
Yeah, and then you meet someone who's like you.
That's right.
Yeah.
Don't they have like a building fall on them or something?
Something. I don't know. I was so done with it, but yeah.
That's one I want to sit down and do a video essay on, but I'm just like, but then I'd have to play Somerville again. It's just a little janky because they don't stay left to right. They do have some movement, like up and across, kind of like an Oxenfree almost. But it just
Mhm.
feels like you clip or you get caught on
Yeah.
things constantly, and it's just like, oh, come on.
Yeah. I kind of just personally, like after you've played Limbo and Inside, going to Somerville feels like a step down. I'm just kind of tired of low poly aesthetics too at this point. But
Oh boy, that's all I play for now for some reason. Well, you know what? I'll say one more thing and then I'll hand it off to you. I'm sorry. I am getting tired of that aesthetic because every other game that comes through the review docket is like, hey, we've got that PS1 aesthetic. Hey, we got that N64 aesthetic. And I'm just like, there's a reason we got away from it, guys. Like, I
it's
wish,
overused.
right? I wish things would get back more to. I miss when indies were okay with just being like 2D side scrollers or having a cartoony vibe to them. Like, just go back to that. I don't need a gritty
Yeah,
PS1 game. We had enough of that when PS1 was a thing.
definitely, definitely.
I've gone on long enough. Ryan, what are you playing, man?
I finally got around to playing Tears of the Kingdom. I'm really only about 3 hours in. I forgot how good Breath of the Wild was at like leading you through an interesting location, and then after you finish doing something, you can always see at least three other interesting things to do.
Mhm.
That's what I really love about the game. I'm actually like not the biggest crafter, so the crafting is easy enough for me to do and enjoy. But that's not why I love the game. I love the game for the exploration, just seeing stuff and doing it. Have both of you guys played it already?
I've
Yes.
played the tutorial island, but I do like because I've only played a little bit of both of those Zelda games, but I know exactly what you're talking about because I remember coming out of one of those shrines in not Breath of the Wild, in Tears of the Kingdom. You come out and you instantly see like the next shrine it wants you to go to, but you also to your right see like a body of water. And I was just like,
Mm-hmm.
oh, I'm gonna take this body of water and go see what's over here. So I
Right.
really do enjoy that because I'm the kind of person, if I have a map and there's all these blips on the map, immediately overwhelmed.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Um, I've also been playing Starfield. Starfield. It when it came out, it seemed like there was a lot of controversy around it that I don't think it deserved. Having sat with it for about 15 hours now, I think it's a good game. I don't know if I think it's maybe my opinion is slanted a little bit because I got it on Game Pass and I didn't have to pay for it. But um, I'm having fun. All I can really say is I'm having fun. My one criticism of the game is I hear people online and in person talk about really cool missions that they find. I just haven't found anything really cool yet. I don't know what I'm doing wrong. I don't know why I'm taking all the side quests that I can. I'm just not finding the really interesting ones. But the thing that might be tainting my view of Starfield a little bit is the fact that I'm doing my first playthrough of Mass Effect 2 right now. And like everyone told me Mass Effect 2 is great, but like y'all really downplayed it. Like that game is amazing.
No, it is by far the best Mass Effect there
It
is.
is peak Mass Effect, and I need to know right now, who are you trying to romance?
I'm not a big romancer.
Okay.
I
all
always
right.
feel guilty. So
Okay.
like, sure. Okay, so I'll flirt a little bit with man, what's her name?
Miranda.
Yeah, Miranda. I'll try to talk to Miranda, but it's strictly flirting. I don't think I'm gonna romance anybody.
She's a coworker.
Can I share with you? Yeah, exactly. Can I share with you what happened in my playthrough of Mass Effect 1?
Yes. What's your class? Are you I'm trying to? It's been so fucking long.
Soldier.
Are you the psi? What? Who's the one that has like the psi abilities that can like throw air and shit?
All I know is I'm a soldier.
Okay.
That's the correct option. Yes, continue.
That's the one.
Mass Effect 1, I unfortunately ended up in the situation. Spoilers if you haven't played this game. I unfortunately ended up in the situation where Ashley kills Rex, and
Oh.
Rex was my favorite character. I got so upset that I wrote Ashley's name in my death note, and killed her as soon as possible. So I didn't have Ashley or Rex, but I had fun roaming around with Tally and Garrus. And when I'm playing Starfield, I'm always thinking about how much I want to play Mass Effect 2. And for a game that's that old, it holds up really well. All the side quests are interesting. I still care about the characters, both old and new. I'm just excited to see where it goes. I'm having a blast. Is Mass Effect 2, is that one of the best space games ever? Or?
I think it is. I think
It's
Mass Effect
definitely.
2, because that was 2010. So, oh my
Mhm.
God. Mass Effect 2 is a teenager. Oh my God. 50 years ago. Mass Effect 2 came out and just blew people away because Mass Effect 1, I think, came out and people were really impressed with it. And were like, oh, wow, like, look at what they're doing with this setting. Look at all the things, look at all the possibilities. Look at the story you're eventually going to be able to tell by the time this trilogy is over. Now honestly, obviously they didn't deliver that latter part, but Mass Effect 2 came out and they're like, oh wow, like they fixed the gunplay. The combat actually feels good. Like, yes, I'm playing an RPG, but I'm playing this dope ass third person shooter with all these abilities, with all these great characters, side characters that you care about. And honestly, these were some of the best side quests, side characters that I've seen in an RPG that I don't think were touched until Baldur's Gate 3 came out this year.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
Honestly, I looking back in the last 13 years, I think Witcher 3 might come close, but I mean that's not like in the same, like, yes, that's an action RPG. The genre words are so muddied now, but you don't have people following you, you don't have companions. But yeah, I don't yeah, nothing. I'm just sitting here trying to think of things real quick. Nothing comes to mind.
No Star Warses are up there. Like not Knights of the Old Republic.
Well, those were 2003,
Those are prior.
2005.
Yeah, I mean, so yeah, they would be up. It would be up there if we're going that far back. But as far as like in the Xbox 360 era, I would say it's Mass Effect 2, Mass Effect 1, probably Dead Space right after.
Mm.
I'm trying to think. I'm just thinking companions in general, like people who are following you. Nothing. Because
No, I mean,
RPGs
literally-
kind of took a back seat.
Yeah, because even Skyrim wasn't that good
Yeah.
with it.
Yeah,
Skyrim wasn't that good. Fallout 3 was probably decent about it, but even then, like, let's face it, no one really memorized or remembers too much of Fallout 3 other than it was better than 4.
Outside of Rex and Dogmeat, nobody gives a shit about Fallout companions.
Oh, that's it. Well, technically, New Vegas. Everybody doesn't. That's like the one everybody clamors to.
Yeah, but even though, like, I think Rex,
Well, even
which
the
is the
companion is that
Elvis,
one.
he's the Elvis robot dog that everyone loves. Everyone else, I'm just like, yeah, I don't think people are clamoring for what's the super mutant from 3 Fox or whatever his name is.
Yeah.
I don't think people are like, ugh. And I think the ending of Fallout 3 affects that because they're like, oh, why can't Fox
Wait.
go turn on the super
I was
generator?
to say, which ending are we talking about? The original or the DLC?
All of them. Bethesda
All the
fumbles the
above.
endings all the time. But Ryan, I will say, when you are playing Starfield and feeling sad that you're not playing Mass Effect 2, just follow that feeling and go play Mass Effect 2 instead.
It's fair enough. That's fair enough.
Anything else you're playing, Ryan? Anything on the side or anything? Your game jam? Anything you want to share?
No, I'm working on a project called Bite. That should be fun.
Okay.
Goofy little story. I did start playing Signalis, and I really like Signalis. I can't wait to go back to it. But
Dude, yes. Yeah, oh my God, I'm so excited. I'm gonna have to geek out about Signalis with you. That is so much
it's so
fun.
clever. It's so clever. It's the story guides you along so well. Like at first, for the first like 10 to 15 minutes, I was not sold. I was bored out of my mind. But as soon as you get to the like second location in that game, I was like, okay, I'm in. I'm all in.
How far are you into it?
Probably 2.5 hours in.
Okay, I'll wait for you to finish it before I start picking your brain on it. But dude, I'm so excited you're playing that because that is easily one of my favorites from last year.
Okay.
Oh, I love it. It's so good.
That's all I got.
Well, Ryan, thanks for sharing. Hey, Josh,
Yes.
you ready to do some news?
Oh, we're going straight into the news.
Yeah,
okay.
we're going to the news, dude. We're playing
I'm
around
sorry.
with the show
Okay, all
order
right,
here.
all right.
Read all about it. Latest football scores. Morning paper. Morning star. Paper, mister?
It's time for old news.
So we'll start with the big one first. Sega cancels Hyenas.
You know
I
what's
don't
crazy?
think anybody was expecting this, honestly.
So, you know what's crazy about this one to me is I remember I was in LA last summer and I think Hyenas was either announced or like it was the first time it was looked at. So Hyenas was like their extraction shooter, which I'm guessing is like the Tarkov?
Escape from Tarkov, yeah.
So this is the one where you were space people, you were going onto ships to claim a bunch of booty, and it was all like Sega stuff. So you'd find we were talking about Sonic pre-show.
Chili ring?
You would find chili rings. You would find Sonic's chili ring. I'm saying it in the episode so we can have it as the title. I'll get a word from our producer. It's like, hey, you can't use that title, you guys.
Yeah, you can't.
But yeah, this is crazy because this was on the verge of coming out.
They literally just had a beta on the 11th of September.
Did anyone here play the beta?
I did not.
I did not either.
It was a closed beta, if it helps.
Kind of just came and went. I mean, but also, like, is anyone really making extraction shooters right now?
Well, I mean, Battle State can't even finish Tarkov, so
Tarkov hasn't gone 1.0 yet, has it?
no, they don't. It's like they're already working on their arena shooter version of it.
Yeah, I don't, because Tarkov was the height of the extraction shooter, and then I think didn't Call of Duty have a version of this called not Warzone? What was their name for it?
Can't remember their name, but then Battlefield did something I say somewhat similar, but it was not really. They've all dabbled in it. No one can succeed. I mean, Escape from Tarkov is probably going to be the one that does it really well, obviously because it's the father of the two, or the genre.
Mm-hmm.
But no one else is able to copy it because... Actually, no, there is a close one right now. I think it's called Darker and Darker.
Yep, I've heard. Yeah, you know what? I've heard of that. That one's
I keep seeing videos.
Is that out of Germany? That's like a
I
fantasy
think it's
setting,
Germany.
isn't it?
Yes. Honestly, I keep seeing videos on it, and I'm like, fuck, I just missed the beta. Are you kidding me? Because I want to try it because it looks so good.
I just think it's one of those genres that had like one or two heavy hitters, and then everyone tried to emulate it, and now these games are all finally coming out, and they're like, oh, shit. Like, these other two games already have this cornered. We're not really going to make a mark on this.
Yeah, I just think it's almost like the excuse me.
Oh boy.
It's almost like the Souls genre. It's starting to become an overbred, overpopulated genre.
It's tired. Well, I compare this more to the Battle Royale. Like, everyone wanted their Battle Royale. Fortnite and PUBG were rocking it. Apex came out a little later and changed it up a little bit, but everyone else came and went and just disappeared. And then the developer would follow shortly. What's the ice one I bring up every time? Is that Ring of Ulysses or something?
Ring of Elysium, yeah. That was actually, I enjoyed it because it was just a little different with like, oh, you can pick a bike, you can pick the glider, you can pick, I forget the other option was, but they have the options like, oh, that's kind of cool. It's a shitty game, still kind of cool.
It looked cool, yeah.
But the one that still shocks me and surprises me at this moment is the godfather of it. PUBG.
PUBG was just so slow to take off. Like, they didn't hit.
But it started it all.
It started it all, but just because you were the first doesn't mean you were like
the best. You're
making all
the
the
best
right calls.
implementer. Well, it went from they quit doing major updates to it, then it went free to play, and now it's not technically not a dead game because there's still a ton of people who play it, surprisingly, but it's oversaturated with bots and cheaters.
I think Fortnite's got a lot of bots in it too, but I find it funny that the one thing that people really hated about PUBG was like, hey, the map, we're tired of the map. Like, we have nothing we have one map, and we don't like this. And they eventually put out another map, which I never played. But Fortnite will have the same map for like 3 or 4 months at a time, and like maybe change like one little corner or 2 interest points. And of course, they've always got something going on the map that wasn't there like a few weeks ago. But it's kind of crazy that now Fortnite people are like, yeah, the map doesn't change enough, but we only need one map. But now you've got people clamoring for the old stuff, so it's just really crazy.
Mm-hmm.
What's next, Josh?
Yeah,
sorry, go
ahead. The cultural relevance of Fortnite always amazes me. Like, Fortnite is a part of every rollout now. Like, you get The Rock in Fortnite. You get like
you get
promoting
Goku,
everything.
Whatever's coming out, you're gonna get it.
Hey,
Exactly.
we want to. Hey, we're an important touchstone in culture. We need to put some Fortnite skins out.
It's crazy.
You want to play as Paul Rudd? We got you.
They were.
I was on
Travis
there.
Scott and Ariana Grande had a concert in Fortnite. That's crazy.
I went to the Travis Scott concert and survived. I lived to tell the tale.
Moving on. Diablo 4 coming to Steam.
I think we all saw this coming, right?
Oh, I mean,
Yeah.
with Activision taking over Blizzard, yeah, it's... And even then, with the whole acquisition with Microsoft, we're going to see more of this. I honestly would not be shocked once Microsoft takes over 100%. I would not be shocked that we start to see World of Warcraft come to console.
I think Warcraft, I think StarCraft, I think anything that they think, hey, we have enough people, bring it over. With Microsoft taking over, because Microsoft had started bringing all their stuff over. Like, wasn't Halo Infinite like day one on Steam?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I think from now on, I think BattleNet will thankfully go away.
Thank God.
Because BattleNet is bad. It is awful.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Now, that said, you know how I feel about everyone just counting on one platform for all of their gaming needs.
But if we get rid of the shitty ones, at least I'll be happy. Keep the good ones. Get rid of the shitty ones.
Keep Steam. I know people don't like Epic Game Store, but I kind of like it. It's growing on me. Let's keep that one.
I like Epic over BattleNet for sure. I like Epic over EA's. Like, I will pick Epic, but if I can be honest, I'd rather just keep it all on Steam. That's me personally.
Okay, fun game. Fuck, marry, kill. Fuck, marry, kill. Game launchers. Ubisoft. What is that? Uplay or whatever it's called
Yeah,
now?
Uplay. Jesus, Uplay.
Rockstar Social Club.
Ooh.
And what is EA's? It's not Origin anymore. Is it just EA?
EA Play.
EA Play.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna fuck Rockstar Social Club. Marry EA because they have the EA Game Pass, and fucking kill Ubisoft.
Now, are we saying fuck isn't like a good thing, or fuck like fuck off?
Sometimes you have a good fuck, sometimes you have a bad fuck, however you want to interpret it, Josh. You don't like yourself after every fuck, is what I'm saying.
Okay, well, I'm gonna kill Ubisoft right off the bat. They're dead. Marry Steam because Steam is just...
He's already breaking the rules. Okay.
How am I breaking the rules?
Steam was not an option, sir.
Oh, Steam is an option for me.
Ooh.
You can't tell me who I can marry or who I can't marry.
All right,
It's not an assigned marriage.
All right, run with it.
And then I would fuck Rockstar.
Rockstar's got the most fuckable game launcher, is what I'm hearing. What about you, Ryan?
The exact same as you, Dick. EA Play has all the Mass Effects, so that's a marriage by default. I'm sure we'll talk about Ubisoft a little bit more later, but like, I don't need all those side missions and hours of content. Like, I would take that behind the barn and kill it.
And all those points they give you that add up to nothing. They're like, here's some Ubisoft. Here's U points or whatever they're called. It's like, hey, thanks for nothing.
Exactly.
It's like your grandma writing you a 20-cent check.
Exactly.
Grandma might
And
make
of course, Rockstar has some solid game. I've never actually used Rockstar Social Club, but I'm assuming I get access to the good Rockstar games. So
I only got it because I downloaded GTA 6 and LA Noire.
Oh, you got
Uh-oh,
GTA
you just-
6.
I'm sorry,
might
5.
get you
5.
canceled.
Sorry,
So,
5.
Get you
this motherfucker-
canceled.
Hey, go to Nick Fat Night. He's got GTA 6 already. He's playing it live tonight.
No, my NDA. No. No, GTA 5 and LA Noire, and it looks really. It's aesthetically pleasing, but it's a pain in the ass. That's why I would fuck it instead of marry it. It's like that ex that you know is bad for you, but you just can't stop seeing. You can't let them go. You can't. You love them, even though they hurt you. Josh, get me out of this.
All right. Assassin's Creed Mirage has been released. For those not aware, it's getting pretty good reviews. A lot of it is being interpreted as they're going back to their roots of a smaller game, which people are pissed about. And I have to sit there and question, like, what have you liked about the open world ones so much that you're not willing to go back to the old days, what actually made Assassin's Creed?
I think it's so stupid that a series that is generally about going back to your roots in history is going back to its roots.
Yeah. You know what I found even more ironically funny? We're still practically following all of Desmond's heritage. That motherfucker's been dead for 6 or 7 games.
It's closer to 10 now. Yeah. I think the dumbest. Ryan, how do you feel about Assassin's Creed 1, 2, and 3? Like, how do you feel about the early series?
I loved 1 and 2. 3 was, which one was Black Flag?
That was at 5?
Black Flag was the one with the pirates.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's 5. So because it went Assassin's Creed 2, Assassin's Creed 3, Brotherhood.
Black Flag was considered 4, though. They called it Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag.
Well, right, because the Brotherhood and whatever the other Revelations, whatever, where they were basically 3 or 2.5, and then there was 3, which fall in the Native American stuff, and then there was Black Flag, which is 4.
The thing with 3 was just too much. There's too much going on. Like, I remember playing it and being 5 hours in, and then the game was like, oh, hey, here's a tutorial about how to steer a ship and to do this other stuff. And I'm like, oh, you're doing more. We're doing more stuff, aren't we?
Right.
I mean, it's like every game out there now, though. It's like you're like a quarter, if not halfway into the game, and they're like, oh, hey, we're going to introduce this new mechanic now. And it's like, motherfucker, just let it be.
Just let me play. That's why I like Cocoon so much, because press A. Just press A. Just press fucking A.
No. Fuck tutorials in general. If there's the option to turn it off, I'm gonna learn. I'm gonna learn how to play this game.
Do it the hard way.
So I really liked 2. I thought 2 was a great game, probably the greatest in the series. 1 was fine. I didn't mind 1 as much as a lot of people did. I also think it's just really strange that people are nostalgic for 1 now.
See, and 1 was, like you said, 1 is okay. It's what started all, but 2 is definitely its peak. 2 and Brotherhood.
Mm-hmm.
I agree with
Assassin's
2.
Creed. Yeah. And then I think what separated 4 from everybody else too was the fact that they brought the ship battles.
Mm-hmm.
I think the thing that the series has always had a problem with is just like going all in, and I think you see that immediately in the first game when they're like, oh, hey, this is all science fiction where you're going to the past in this thing. And, you know, in another game that would be like the twist at the end is like, oh, you were in a pod this whole time. But in that first game, it's like, nope, first 10 minutes, you find out that you're in a pod.
Yeah. That was my least favorite part of the game. Like, I don't care anything about the present. All the cool stuff is happening in the past. I could just cut out all that stuff, and I think I would be perfectly fine.
Well, I just did. Like, in the first one, it was like very Soldum shit that was going on in the present. There wasn't anything going on. Where with 2, they started to introduce more of it, and they're like, oh, when you're in the pod, you're actually learning all these abilities. So as you're doing it in these memories, your body's learning how to do it in the real world. So that was cool.
Mm-hmm.
But then after that, it kind of just like forgotten about. And like the only thing that came out was the mystery of what's going on with the Apple of Eden.
Yeah.
That's it.
The
And then
present
from there, it's just been nothing but bullshit. Oh, you're a security guard you're some guy who's going to go talk to a security guard about your new job, about playing through these memories for a fake company the Templars run.
the present day stuff was a really good walking simulator back then. It was like it was like the start of walking simulators. I didn't like the soulsification of it. I don't understand Odyssey, Origin, Valhalla. I just like if I wanted to play a Souls-like, I'd go play Souls. I don't want to do that in the Assassin's Creed setting.
I think they fucked up. They killed Desmond too early,
Mm-hmm.
and they're like, well, fuck, what's the whole point of this whole game then? Like, literally, you killed off the main character who we're trying to figure out the whole story to begin with. What are we doing now? It feels like it's just we're jumbling around now. I lost track of what's going on after 4.
2 seriously felt like a Jerry Bruckheimer film. 2 felt like, because you had the stuff in present day where you were not kidnapped, but you were like running away to be with like the secret people who had like taken you away at the end of the first one. And then like you go back into the past and like you're this playboy in Paris. And I was like, this is like 2003 like National Treasure type ass movie. And then didn't Jerry Bruckheimer end up doing the Assassin's Creed movie?
I believe so.
I'm pretty sure.
I forgot about that.
I'm pretty sure
Wow.
he did. So the fact that Assassin's Creed 2 fit the bill perfectly, and then Jerry Bruckheimer, and if I'm wrong, I'm sorry, came on to do a movie, it's a spit in the face. Like, Jerry, what the fuck? You losing it, man.
I want to read this quote from the article you got pulled up.
Let me scroll down.
It says, because it never expands to include world-ending machines or modern-day lore, it feels grounded in a way that most past games haven't. That gives me a lot of hope for this series. I'm sick and tired of the world almost ending in all forms of media. Like,
Yeah.
I just appreciate a grounded story. So I think I'm excited to play this one.
Yeah,
I'm excited to play it too, but I just, like I said, I lost track of what's actually going on. So I don't know if I'm going to have to go back and watch a bunch of like terrible content creators to explain to me the synopsis of what's going on up to this point, or
Oh, the people who are into Assassin's Creed are in it, Josh. They are in it. But I think that was my favorite thing about the first one, is that it wasn't like hey, this is to save the world. This is, hey, we're just looking for this thing. We need you to go back in the past and see where they left it. They left our car keys somewhere back.
well,
in,
they weren't even
back in the day.
sure if Desmond knew. They're just like, hey, you want to make some extra money? We're just looking for something particular. We got this cool technology. You can play with your ancestors. Here you go.
They hired Desmond off TaskRabbit.
Well, remember, Desmond was working at a bar when they came to him.
That's right. I forgot
And
about
he's like,
that.
easy fucking money. Let's do it. Yeah, fuck the bar. I'm gonna make a couple of G's just sitting here playing games with my ancestors here.
Desmond, the most done wrong character in the last 20 years.
Yes.
Well, can I ask you guys this?
Yes.
What do you think is like the appeal to Ubisoft games right now?
Brain dead people.
The appeal is that you were getting something that you're getting a game that you've already bought. This is Madden. This is Madden to some people. This is some people's Madden.
It's the Madden. It's the sports, and it's the Call of Duties. They are the Activision in general, where it's exactly what you're paying your $60, $70, your dues, and you're comfortable with it, and you're going to be happy. There's some new They removed 2 features. They add some new content. Everything's good.
The people who they got their hooks into with Prince of Persia: The Sands of Time, those are the same suckers still buying all these Assassin's Creed games because they were just the continuation. Those poor fucks have been just stuck in this loop because the smart folks, not the smart folks, but the folks who cherished their time, played Sands of Time, and were like, this is fine. And then saw Warrior Within and were like, that's too much Godsmack for me.
I'm unfortunately one of those people because I enjoyed The Warrior Within. So,
I skipped that one and just went to the Two Thrones or whatever it was called. That one,
which is probably the worst one of them all.
it was fun.
Next to that really weird one they did for the 360.
The Two Thrones was fine. There were cool little elements where like you would fight as the regular prince, and then I forgot what would happen. You were cursed, and you would turn into the Dark Prince, and just,
the sand was imbued into your body basically.
you were the Haka, right? The Haka.
Yeah.
Like he was like part of you or something.
Who didn't want to run away from Ubisoft Venom?
Good SEO
right.
grab, Josh. Good SEO grab.
Moving on to the next topic, Naughty Dog reportedly lays off at least 25 with the Last of Us multiplayer game, quote unquote, on ice.
So this sounds like these were folks who were contracted. They weren't like Naughty Dog folks, but they were contracted to work with Naughty Dog. Sounds like their contracts just weren't renewed. With them saying this multiplayer game is on ice, I don't think this is coming out.
No, it's dead on arrival.
Makes me so sad. Did either of you play the online for Last of Us?
I did for when it first came out. I never did for the remaster or the remake.
It was just, it played kind of like the online for the Uncharted games, right?
Yeah, that does it a disservice because it's 10 times better. It is 10 times better. But I played it religiously when it first came out, and it had this weird uncanny ability to make you care about fake characters because you would connect your Facebook account to it, and the better you did in matches, people from your Facebook would join your camp. But then if you did poorly, it would be like, oh, you didn't have enough supplies, so your grandma just starved to death.
That's awesome.
So that was a cool feature. And it was a great competitive game. Like it was a lot of fun. There was a lot of strategy you could do. It was amazing.
It sounds like with this one, they were leaning on the Destiny side of things from what I remember reading, which I think is the weird thing because what you just described, it's kind of giving me what were the zombie games for Xbox? Not Dead Rising, the State of Decay. State of Decay, where you were like bringing survivors in, looking for stuff to survive, basically like strengthening your camp. If that were this, I think it'd be in a much better spot. But now that Sony owns Bungie, they've got Bungie going in, poking their noses into everything. Like, don't do that.
Yeah.
But let's be honest, though, right now, the greatest zombie building your camp up, helping survivors, is got to be Dead Rising.
Oh, I thought you were going to say that other zombie game that you like are like head over heels for, the motorcycle one on PS4.
Day One. Days Gone.
Days Gone. I wish you'd be on board with it. It's a fantastic story.
Dude, it just looks, it's Sons of Anarchy meets Walking Dead, man.
It's so much more than that.
You act like
it's
that's
Daryl
a bad
Dixon
thing.
without Norman Reedus.
Man, it's Walking Dead. It's just like they're like, hey, we like Norman Reedus and we like his motorcycle show. What if we did them together?
It's so good though, and they left it on such a good cliffhanger.
Now, if you had to get your zombie buddy out of prison, then I'm back. If it leaned more into
is this a Netflix movie? Are we going to Vegas? We're gonna break into a vault.
I'm pitching, you guys. I'm pitching. Yeah, but it's also really weird because Sony's catalog already has a third-person shooter zombie game, so adding another one in just seems like a weird thing. It feels like it's the right call because then, like, I don't know, man. Then not Ubisoft. Screw them. Fuck Ubisoft. And then who are the Spider-Man people? Insomniac comes back and like, oh hey, we want to do the Spider-Man comic where they have the zombies. I forget what that one's called.
Don't remember either.
Marvel Zombie. I forget.
Is it Marvel? Name. Is it as simple as that? Is it Marvel Zombie?
I think it's just Marvel Zombies. Yeah.
They come back and then you just have this mess of all these zombies. Like, no man, like have The Last of Us, be done with it. and we don't need another
Fuck The
zombie
Last
game.
of Us. That one day's gone.
But no, I do think this The Last of Us multiplayer game is not coming out. I think they've probably completely shifted over to The Last of Us 3, if I had to imagine. But also, like, that might be up. That might be at risk because it sounds like SAG-AFTRA might strike some of these video game companies, and I think Sony's on that list.
Mm-hmm. I don't mind that. Like you were saying, the whole zombies Sony aesthetic, like it gets overused in their games. Uncharted is in the same vein. Last of Us is in the same vein. God of War kind of has that moodiness about it. So I don't mind taking a break from Last of Us and all that, just doing something different. But that's just me.
They need to put out a Gran Turismo. They need to put out a first-person shooter. When's the last time Sony put out a first-person shooter? I think we're
was
gonna
it
get
like Resistance, Killzone. Was it Killzone?
Killzone Shadowfall.
get Resistance
Bring back
back.
Resistance. I want Resistance so
I'd be down
bad.
for
Get
I'd be okay with
Insomniac off of
I'd
that
be okay.
Spider-Man shit. Get him off of that
Hey,
Spider-Man
hey,
shit.
hey.
Get him back on Resistance because you can do so much with Resistance. Like, okay, by the end of that last game, I think, because that last game is a fucking road trip game, which is amazing, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
But there's so much alternative history you can play with. There's so much you can do with it. And oh
I'd
my
be
God.
I'd be
It's-
okay with them even going back and like retelling the story of the first one.
That too. It's like
Yeah.
I played it. Oh, when did I play it? Was that 2015? So I played it a few years. I played it almost 10 years after it came out. And it was still a fun game. It didn't have, you couldn't aim down the sights or anything, but man, that was a fun
Oh, the
game.
good old days.
And Insomniac was the one Sony studio. Well, they're just more recently a Sony studio, but they were that one studio making Sony games for PlayStation that were taking chances and trying new things as opposed to everyone else doing third-person action narrative bullshit. Blech.
Not to resurrect the old news segment of the show, but hopefully Sony's worried about Call of Duty going exclusive and it forces them to bring back Resistance.
Oh, I think deep down they know shit's about to go down. Like they've got like that truce right now for this for Modern Warfare 3, but who knows how long that's gonna last.
Exactly.
They're gonna get so desperate they bring Mag back.
I'd be okay with,
Oh my
I'd
God.
be okay with that.
They'll also bring back Haze.
Ooh, I'm not okay with
They'll
that.
be like, get the Haze guys in here. Come on, get in here. We got
That's
all hands.
desperate.
We got an all hands meeting, guys. Get in here.
No, that's desperate, and then going to anybody who works at Ubisoft, getting them to come in like, hey, we need something that isn't Far Cry. What do you got?
Hats off to those folks at Naughty Dog who are out of a job. Hopefully, all you folks land on your feet.
Mm-hmm.
Moving on. Sad day in news. Nintendo 3DS and Wii U online services will shut down in April 2024.
Oh man, like, I didn't another one of these just shut down recently?
I think it was the Wii.
Yeah.
The Wii music
Yeah,
is
the
gone
Wii.
forever.
So Wii is officially, as of April 2024, 100% Wii will no longer exist.
It's so weird.
I mean, it will, but
So weird to think that the Wii and Wii, like, I don't know what they were thinking, like having their next console have that same name and be a completely different thing. That is, like,
I
just
mean,
way to
I
muddy
did
the
like-
marketing.
the one thing they did that I actually did like really like is the tablet. Being able to switch from the tablet to the TV. That was like a really like I was like, shit, that's a really smart idea. How many times have you gotten into a situation where you're about to play a game and somebody comes in and is like, oh, I want to watch TV?
Yeah, I agree.
Did
Yeah, I
that
agree.
work well for you?
No.
It never worked well for me.
No. But still, the concept. I mean, it led to the Switch, essentially. So it did bring us that. So they hit some good intentions. But if they had just perfected that portion, I think the Wii U would have been successful. But at the same time, that's the only thing it really brought, other than maybe some minor upgrades to the hardware, as far as a little more RAM, a little more power.
It's fascinating because the Wii U and the Xbox One both have this aspect where it's like, oh, we know you like to watch TV. Like, here's this thing that's going to revolutionize how your gaming experience and your TV watching experience blend. And here we are, 10 short years later, and no one's fucking watching TV.
That was what they killed. That was what they killed Microsoft for with the which Xbox was it where they tried to make it the media center?
Xbox it was the media center. It was the Xbox One, and you could do Xbox, and it would do the little sidebar like screen within a screen. So like you could be waiting to get into a Gears of War game in the middle of the screen, and on the right it would have like whatever was on your cable box because it had an HDMI in and an HDMI out. Mm-hmm. So you could plug your cable box into that, plug your Xbox, and then your Kinect would like. I had the setup. I had the fucking setup. I had my cable box and my Blu-ray going into the Xbox. So if you told your Kinect to like turn the volume down, it would turn the volume down on the Blu-ray. It was amazing. And when they just started killing it, I was like, no, my boy, I love this thing. I was just thinking about that the other day because even my wife would use it. She'd be like, Xbox TV on. And they would come. Oh, it's so cool. Like we were living in the future and we just didn't know what we had.
Took it for granted.
We didn't know what we had. 360.
I would like to say that I miss the days of a heavily regulated Nintendo eShop. I was not opening up my 3DS and finding scantily clad, sketchy games all the time like I do on the Switch.
Is there a lot of Switch porn?
I miss that.
Is there a lot of Switch porn out there now?
Yep.
Oh, that's a tough thing because I feel like that's an issue everyone's having because Steam is just covered in it, like just covered in it. It's everywhere, man. What is wrong with people? What is wrong with people? I don't like Josh with his with his games.
Leave me alone with my
Oh, here he goes. He's already got a name ready.
No, what was the Hitler game?
Sex with Hitler.
Sex with Hitler 3D. I mean, come on.
Which implies that there were two before it.
Then that's okay. I'm too behind. I gotta catch up. For $5 bundle, my God, man, who doesn't want to put a dildo in Hitler's ass? Come on.
Oh God, I have to go play
peak
2.
Patriotism.
I have to go play 2. There's chili ring lore that I don't know about.
Sex with Hitler 3D or 3.5D.
Josh,
the chili ring.
I need you to stop. This is serious Nintendo news. This is serious Nintendo news. No, so the 360 is shutting down too, I believe. 360 shuts down.
360
the store.
is right behind it.
It's coming soon.
Sorry, I just got here and passing the dog off.
So when the 360 was announced, someone did like a full list of like games that were going to be lost to time because they were digital only and couldn't be purchased anywhere else. I wonder if anyone's done that yet. I'm sure it's out there. I'm going to take a look at that soon. Oh yeah, here it is. Xbox 360 is closing July 24. So yeah, that early or late aughts, early teens generation's going bye-bye, and that's making me really sad.
Yeah.
Not as sad as this next article will.
It's making me feel old. Go ahead.
PlayStation Portal handheld is selling like hotcakes.
Oh, is this officially out? And sorry, hey, we're using the Game Rant article on here, and it's the one site that makes me turn off my ad stuff. So in case you forgot, it's Truck Month. Go get your Toyota Tundra. Yeah, happy Truck Month to those who celebrate.
Yeah, so it's in pre-orders right now, and there's currently limited because of production, but they keep selling out, and right now they're projected to possibly sell about 20 million.
Oh, I hate gamers so much sometimes. Look at this thing.
It looks awful. And even then, like, guys, see this little device right here? It's called a cell phone.
Mm-hmm.
All of them have a streaming capability to reach your PS5.
Does it look comfortable in your hand? Like, I get it that it's like a PS5 controller split in two.
That's basically what it is. There's other than that extra weight from the screen itself.
Josh, can you grab your PS5 controller and cut it in half real quick so we can
Actually,
see?
I've got a shit one. I will do it for next episode. I will cut it in half.
Dude, let's record. Oh my God, yeah, that's great. I love that.
I'm absolutely.
I've got a little portable monitor I can just attach to it.
First of all, you're a disgustful, wasteful pig, Josh. But also, let's get that recorded.
I'm tuning in for that.
We'll do it live.
He's got a laser. We're doing it. Yeah, I don't know, man.
I don't get it.
This is disappointing because I think the PSP and PS Vita are two of the sleekest pieces of machinery, of hardware ever fucking made. Yeah, is that PSP? What
It
is
is
that?
PSP. I got the PS Vita around somewhere. I just gotta grab it.
Yeah, it's so sleek. So,
Oh, yeah.
my God, look at that sexy little
It's beautiful.
handheld. Look at that thing.
Wrist strap and all. Wrist strap
yeah.
and all. It's amazing.
Oh, wait, you got a USD in that slot? Ooh, come on. Show me that USD. That, no, USD,
Oh, you're
not
talking about-
USB.
Oh,
Ding dong.
That's not USB either. No, there's nothing. Nothing currently in there.
That VCR style ejection. Just
That thing was beautiful. I know that was rough, but that thing was so nice. It's the only time I've ever watched Stealth. Jamie Foxx's Stealth. You know what?
like you were saying, I'm torn. A part of me is like, we deserve better. Much better. However, I think if I'm playing devil's advocate, I don't think this is for us. This isn't for people who like know about hardware. Yeah. The thing that people use to play games on the most right now is phones, right? There's people shelling out $50 to play Resident Evil 8 on the iPhone, and that's just the world that we live in right now.
Those poor fuckers.
That's just the world we live in right now.
That is like borderline up there with like the people who are like, yeah, I play games on Mac. It's gotten better, but prior to that, it's like, you poor son of a bitch, what are you doing?
Hey, I got a friend that plays Fortnite on the Mac, I believe. Leave them alone.
That poor son of a bitch, what are they doing with their lives?
What I'm most intrigued about this is how this affects what the Steam Deck 2 is going to look like, or the next iteration of the Steam Deck. Are they going to look at this and like be like, hey?
They're going to look at it and go, hold my beer.
Gabe is over there just nose in the air like.
I just imagine the South Park episode with the console wars. It goes straight over to Gabe, and he's just fucking some poor girl. And they're coming in to let him know about it, and he goes, I don't give a fuck.
I forgot about that part of the console wars. Man, South Park really pushing envelopes back then.
Oh, yeah.
And if I remember correctly, wasn't it? It was Xbox the one, and that wasn't it?
Yeah, because right around the time of the Red Wedding and Game of Thrones. Yeah, this isn't for us, but man, we had it so good with PSP and PS Vita. Whatever.
We did.
Maybe one day we'll get another handheld from Sony, and it will it'll blow everybody out of the water.
And maybe one day we'll get that Microsoft Puck we're supposed to get. That's just like the little streaming Xbox Puck. Hey, if Sonic Chili Ring isn't allowed for a title, show me your USD. Is right up there.
That's brilliant. That's brilliant. That's brilliant.
I was just thinking that. Josh, thanks for pulling the news. Since Jake is not here, Josh was in charge of also pulling the meme. Josh, you ready?
Me time.
Yeah.
All right, here we go. It went down a page.
So, when the company that fired you starts fucking up tremendously, and it's Kojima holding his little espresso cup and having a little smirk on his face.
Good meme, Josh, which leads into our main topic. Josh, you've been really good with the memes. I might have to fire Jake. You pick memes that are palatable to people who are only listening, and I appreciate you for it, Josh. I appreciate
Thank you. I appreciate that.
I hope Jake is watching and heard all of that.
We're having his 2-week notice shortly.
That poor bastard. All right, let's get into the main topic. We're talking the 5 most influential games from Hideo Kojima. You know him, you love him, the man behind Metal Gear Solid series. Also put out a little demo called PT. Very crazy career. In no particular order, we're just gonna go down this list. First of all, before we do that, I want to ask, what is everyone's experience with Kojima. Ryan, I'll have you go first.
I have only played. Well, I've played one Kojima game, and I've played about 2 hours of another one. I've always been, I'd say, intrigued by Kojima, but in my household, I think I couldn't convince my parents to get me Metal Gear. Therefore, I just missed out on all of them. I'm super excited that the remasters are coming out because that's going to be my on ramp to that entire series. Yeah, that's my experience.
You have a trend of playing the trilogies just in one go.
Oh yeah.
That's what it is, though.
What was the one game? What was the one? Or you said you played two. What were the two games?
So one of the one that I played about 15 minutes of was Metal Gear Solid 5.
Okay.
I didn't understand it. I think I've told you this before, but I didn't start paying attention to like the story of a game until I played Last of Us 1. And so I remember booting up Metal Gear Solid 5 and just being so confused by how slow you would crawl around and just not knowing what to do. And I was like, this looks really pretty. This looks really fun, but I just don't know what to do with it.
I need to get out of here. What else do I have?
And I played PT.
Okay.
I wish I still had my PS4 with PT on it.
Doesn't everybody?
Yes.
Those go for a pretty penny too, I bet.
They do.
Last time I
They
saw
still
they were
do.
like $500.
Well, it's not the craziest amount of money, but I would just hold on to mine and just be like, let's give this another 20 years.
Yeah.
Josh, you've played all the Metal Gears, right?
I've played just about everything Kojima has dabbled in, so I'm
Dabbled
comfortable
in.
talking.
I hate you so much for that.
The only thing I haven't touched was that Penguin Adventure, and a couple of the one-off games I've never heard of, like that Metal Gear Solid Touch.
You haven't played
12
Penguin
Killers.
Adventure?
Have you?
No, I haven't. Okay, so then let me ask you, follow up to that. What's your favorite Metal Gear, Josh?
I have to go with Snake Eater.
Why?
Because I'm still in a dream.
I hate you so much.
I
hate you so
I can
much.
sing it if you want me to. No, it's just... It's probably the one that I've religiously played. I mean, Twin Snakes is definitely up there, because it's a retelling of one on the GameCube. It looks fantastic. It plays fantastic, but it's stuck on the GameCube and forever will be, as far as we know. Same with like 4 being stuck on the PS3. Just something about Snake Eater. There's just the camouflage system, the mini games. Hell, even the fight with Vulcan. Come on, it doesn't get much better than that.
Oh,
Hell,
that's
Pain. Pain is by far one of the best fights in there.
Is Pain the astronaut?
Yes.
Oh yeah, I love that fight. It's a pain in the ass. No pun intended.
Yeah, no, there's just something that 3 does that 1 and 2 could never be, and 4 and 5 can never touch.
So I go back and forth on 2 and 3 being my favorite, just because 2 does some crazy stuff with the story, and then 3 is just an all around like great game. But let's get into these. So without further ado, first one here is Metal Gear Solid. This first one came out, was it 98 or 96?
98.
98. Did you see that Jennifer Hale, the voice of Naomi, came out and said that she only made like $1,200 for this voice gig?
No,
That is crazy.
But I don't think we know how many hours she recorded with them. And also in 98, that was like, I think $2,400 bucks. So, I mean, to be fair, like, we don't know the full gist of it, but also, like, people should get paid more. But also, like, man, that's a lot of money if you were just in a booth for, like, a few days.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
But so what is so influential about this? I mean,
Well,
this
okay,
was...
it has the most iconic openings of video game history.
a hindy. Oh my god. Yeah, so this opening scene, you've infiltrated, and we're gonna go through the whole game synopsis. So buckle up. This is a 10-hour podcast.
Oh god, did not sign up for this.
I did not agree to this. So yeah, you come out onto this dock of this base that has been taken over by these terrorists, and you are Solid Snake, a character that has been in other video games already. They did the Metal Gear games for
Nintendo and Super Nintendo.
They're only Japanese releases though at that point, right?
I think so. No, I think they had some American releases at that point.
So this
Anyway.
was, so I mean, this is your first, as far as I'm concerned, this is your first 3D stealth game. And I mean, we're looking at it now. Yeah, the camera's bad. You have to like press up against the wall to like see enemies. But this was like revolutionary because nobody had done anything like this. You could manipulate like the wall you were on by knocking on it to make a sound to have somebody come over towards you. I don't know what this guy is doing in this base right now, but
Waiting for the elevator.
that's right, waiting for the elevator. And this is them flexing their muscle. This game went on to make buku bucks for Konami. It's got a bunch of weird characters, and it was just like the first time that I think a lot of people were introduced to the way that Hideo Kojima can tell a story. And again, you know, it's not just one person making a game; it's a team effort. But man, this game gets weird. There's a guy that there's a guy that's an actor who can dress up like other people and perfectly like look like them. Like he could be Josh right now for all we know.
No, he's dead. Spoiler alert.
Oh, there's a guy, probably my
Revolver
favorite.
Ocelot.
Yeah, well, you're doing them
You've
in
got
order. Ooh.
Sniper Wolf. You've got Psycho Mantis.
Ocelot is who I think is like a top 10 all-time character in video games. If I'm being honest, him and Snake like right next to each other. Psycho Mantis does something cool that you know, Hideo Kojima likes to fuck with players. I think that's something very obvious that you'll see across his games. What Psycho Mantis likes to do, he'll read your memory card, and if you've played another Konami game or a game that Kojima
in general.
in general, it's like, oh hey, you play Super Smash Brothers, eh? This was the GameCube version, of course, but he would just fuck with you. And I mean, the main bad guy is your twin brother. I don't know if that's a spoiler, Josh, is it?
It is, because no one knows who Liquid is until the very end.
But it's like, it's just an 80s ass action movie story with a bunch of weird shit.
So is that why it's called So is that why he's Solid Snake? Because there's Liquid Snake?
Yeah, well,
That just blew my mind.
There's Naked Snake.
Okay.
And then what's Solidus Snake?
Solid
So we got
Snake is into-
quadruplets here?
What
Sorry.
are quadruplets?
We got quadruplets.
So Solid, Liquid,
No, so-
Solidus.
So Solidus is a clone. Is like a separate clone, I think, of Big
Solid
Boss,
or Big Boss?
and then Solid Snake and Liquid Snake are both twins of the same genome that they used.
Okay.
And then Naked Snake is just Big Boss, but with a different code name.
That was his code name before he became Big Boss.
And then was there
Because
another
he kills
Snake
the original
name?
Big Boss.
Does he have a does Snake have a different name in 4? Isn't it like some weird? Is it Old Snake?
Yeah, they just call him Old Snake because the fox dye has accelerated his cells in his body to produce rapidly, so they're just aged him quickly.
It gets fucking ridiculous. But I mean, this is the first, like all these things that we're seeing in this game. So this codex, like the weird characters, the funny moments, Kojima fucking with players. This is shit that we're going to see throughout the rest of his, not discography, but through the rest of his gameography. There we go. And it started out with this one. This game was bananas. And then a few short years later, Josh, you might have to remind me of the year. Metal Gear Solid 2 comes out for PS2. I want to say it was after the World Trade Center because they had to change some stuff.
2002?
Or it was late 2001, something like that.
I'm looking it up now.
So this came out before Halo 2. So this is probably one of the first games that I can think of. There's probably others of people in the audience yelling, "Hey, you fucking idiot." But this is one of the first games that I can think of where the main focus wasn't that main character that everybody was so in love with. Now
November 13th, 01.
01?
Yep.
Okay, so they had some. There's a scene in this where the base that you are trying to protect is flown into the World Trade Center. Well, flown into New York.
Yeah.
Really?
So they had to change.
They had to heavily change some things.
And if you play the game, like that scene, that time in the game does feel heavily edited to like work around that. It's really crazy when you think about it, especially when you consider all of the things that this game all the themes this game plays into, that, you know, when you look at it 22 years later, you're like, oh, fuck. Like, he was spot on. Like, I think this is the first time people were like, does Hideo have a crystal ball laying around somewhere?
Is he working with the guy, the Simpson creators? Like, what the fuck's going on?
That'd be a good meme. I'm making that meme.
You're welcome.
But so this one, the main character is Raiden, and I forget Raiden's last name. Raiden's just like
they just call him Raiden.
An operative title. And yeah, people did not like Raiden. Just like Abby from The Last of Us 2, Arbiter from Halo 2, people hated this fucking guy.
Well, hold on. It's justifiable, though, because this was a little weird. The first part of the game, you play as Snake on the tanker.
Mm-hmm.
And then the tanker goes down,
mm-hmm.
and it's like what, a year or two later,
mm-hmm.
and all of a sudden you're playing as Raiden.
Right, you're on a big shell. It's an ocean cell, or an ocean rig, or oil rig. I'm sorry, and a terrorist group is taking it over, just like Shadow Moses, which was the base from the first game. And you start to notice that there's a lot of stuff happening here that lines up really close to the first game.
Well, yeah, just like the Raiden swims up to a dock and has to wait for an elevator to climb up, and then you have the crazy moments where, like here, where you see Vamp killing the whole U.S. Navy SEALs team. It's just unrealistic, but they did so well paralleling each other, even to the point where even at the ending, things start to go awry with the Colonel.
So what the game is drawing on is spoilers. I'm gonna go in. I'm going in. Sorry, I love that song. What Hideo's doing here, he's again fucking with the audience, because everyone's expecting what they got from the first game. They're like, hey, I want Solid Snake. I want him to fight these terrorists. I want all this weird shit to happen, and that's exactly what he's giving them. But that's the story of the game. It's the Raiden is set up basically because they're just trying, the agency in the game is just trying to recreate the first game.
The Shadow Moses incident.
It's a better version of what the newest Matrix movie did.
Okay.
The newest Matrix movie was just trying to poke fun at, like, hey, we're being rebooted. I'm Keanu Reeves. Everybody loves it. And they did a much better version of it. This the biggest theme of this game is, not theme, but there's a lot of AI talk in this game. Like a lot of AI talk.
Oh, yeah.
And you find out that the colonel you've been talking to is actually a super smart AI that they set up to just like keep you busy. And he goes into a diatribe about like misinformation and people sharing misinformation. And, if you go back and watch stuff from this game in the last few years, you kind of go like, holy fucking shit.
I'm loving these spins that,
it's so ridiculous. Doing. There's another.
This is even the worst one. You got Queen, who basically just cannot be killed because bullets just go around her.
Oh, so I did just see the term. I saw the term, yeah, Queen, and I thought of it.
He calls her his Queen. That's why I was like, Queen. I'm like, no, that can't be right.
Oh yeah, I forgot. Vamp and Fortune were together. I always forgot there was a dating dynamic in there.
Yeah.
Wow. I'm amazed by how cinematic this is. This is crazy.
You're like, wait a minute, this is a 20-year-old game?
What did I miss out on?
You missed out on at least 30 hours of cutscenes. Minimum.
This is a fun game. There's a lot of back and forth on this. I don't know. I didn't really like the shell setting, but you're also defusing a lot of bombs. If you think Vamp's weird, there's a fat guy in roller skates, and I'm not being mean. His name is Fat Man. There's Olga Gurlukovich, who is one of the best. She works with the Russians, and she ends up being the ninja, right?
Yeah, she ends up being the Gray Fox replicant. Yeah. Ryan,
erase this all from your brain because you're gonna play the game.
I'm absolutely gonna forget. It's okay.
Okay.
And we got Pliskin here.
And this ends up being Snake, so this is our two heroes being united finally. But yeah, just the anger people had for this game, and this game is not a masterpiece, but it's a big fuck you, and I've always loved that about it. And then so to move on to Josh's favorite, Metal Gear Solid 3. I think this is the one perfect game Hideo Kojima has made.
Yes.
Because I can look at those other two that we just talked about. I can look at the other games that we're going to talk about and say, oh, this is my issue with it. This game, I do not see a fucking issue with this. Josh, do you see an issue with Snake Eater? Let me paint the scene for Ryan before Josh goes off. Let me go off. Snake Eater is a prequel, but it's still called Metal Gear Solid 3. It's the weirdest damn thing. Whatever. Metal Gear Solid 5 was also kind of a prequel. You've been there for a little bit. You were there for 15 minutes. This one's set in... Oh, where are they, Josh? They're not in Korea, are they?
No, this is...
It's been so long.
This is like a borderline of Russia, isn't it?
I don't remember. But this game is huge. So, like, the last two were very contained. The last two... it was a singular setting that you never left. This is like a big old jungle, multiple bases, multiple areas. You've got a boss fight that spans over 3 areas that can take you hours because it's a sniper fight. It's probably one of the greatest boss fights of all time.
Oh, that's and it's got one of the greatest cheats around it.
I forgot about this.
For those unaware, so he's an old man. I forget what his name is. Nick, do you remember?
His name is The End.
The End. So he's literally like 100 years old. He's in a fucking wheelchair. There's 2 ways you can kill him easily. There's one cutscene where you see him on a pier where you can actually snipe him and blows him up and kills him. Or if you're getting to the boss fight, if you save the game, pushed your console's clock like a day or 2 ahead, and then play the game back up, it shows a cutscene of him dying of old age.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is crazy.
Yeah, so, and that's just that fight alone. There's other shit you can do for the other fights, but that is by far like one of the greatest, like, it blows your fucking mind. It's up there with the Psycho Mantis being able to read your memory card. And then having to switch ports. And then there's Nick, who is the guy who haunts you when you fall down the river.
Oh, is it the Sorrow? I think it's the Sorrow.
I think it's the Sorrow. So with him, his is really unique. It's not really a boss fight. It's more like you just have to go through
it's a walking simulator.
Yeah, it's a walking simulation. It's based on how many people you've killed up to that point. If you killed nobody, you basically just walk to the end, and you have to just pick your cyanide pill. Or if you've killed 100 people, you have to go through a river that has 100 different types of ghosts coming at you.
Wow.
And you can fail that too, because the ghosts kind of drain you a little bit, don't they, Josh?
Yeah,
you kind of have to avoid them.
Yeah.
It's a tough fight. Going back to the end, I have this headcanon where like somebody discovered that on accident because they hadn't played the game in a few weeks and came back to him being dead. Some things this game introduced to this series, it has a camouflage. If you're watching the video, if you look to the top right, you have like a percentage that you're hidden based on your camouflage in the area that you're in. Other things that introduced was healing through eating food. Like in past games, you had rations, but this one you would actually have like snakes, rats, stuff. You could get poisoned by eating a poisoned animal, right, Josh? Or a
Yep,
poisonous
and then
animal.
you'd have to use. They have the medical screen where you could pull wounds out, bullets out of you, take your broken bones and snap back into place. And depending on what it was, how often it happens, it'd actually play a little cinematic of you watching Snake actually do them. So, like if he broke his forearm, he would take something, put it in his mouth. You'd see him pop it right back into place, and then wrap it up.
Oh, those animations look great too for a game that's going to turn 20 next year.
Yeah.
So I think the camouflage is innovative. I don't think anyone else has done it. I think the light system in Splinter Cell is like the closest to
second,
it. But
yeah.
those were coming up together. It wasn't like one influenced the other. Because I think this was right around the same time as Chaos Theory, which is the perfect Splinter Cell, by the way. So the fact that these two games came out within a year of each other just still blows my mind. This is another one where the bosses are also great, as Josh was saying. I like these themed bosses better because they all have like the pain, the sorrow,
The fear.
the fear,
The fear is by far the easiest boss fight in the whole game.
the end. I'm trying to think. The guy with the bees. What was he called? He's very forgettable.
I forget his name too.
The most forgettable boss of the game. The fear is kind of weird just because you're like on the ground and you're like, okay, I want to climb a tree to see if I can find this guy.
Did you know you could use the traps around the area though to hurt him more?
Can you? I did not know that.
I was watching someone do a speed run and they were just using traps to kill him.
He's very annoying because he's one where you have to wear the different goggles to like kind of snuff him out.
Yeah, because he just camouflages so well with the environment, and he's like a friggin' spider monkey. He can run, jump, climb anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and then the final boss, one of the greatest final bosses of all time, especially with the gut punch.
Shagohog.
Not the Shagohog, Josh. The boss.
Oh, you're talking about Big Boss. Well, no. Technically, it's watching the cinematic of Revolver Ocelot twirl the guns around, then you have to pick which one you want.
Yeah, Revolver's there. I forgot about that. Shagohog. The boss is canonically the final boss.
No, yeah, I know. The boss is definitely that's like the greatest, and it's beautifully done in that it's like a blue or not blue. It's like a white. What is it?
It's a field of flowers. It's a field.
Right, but I don't know what the flower was.
She's in a white jumper, so like you can't see her.
And it's a bulletproof jumper, so you have to hit the spot that she like unzips to show you her birthing scars, and you have to shoot her in that area.
Kojima, yeah. He's also very pervy.
No. Oh, and let's not forget the biggest twist of finding out about Zero and who Adam was.
Oh, but that didn't come till much later.
Well, it comes in for 4 and 5.
Yeah, but you don't find that out in 3, Josh.
I know, I agree, but you did find out. You find out who Adam is, and then you, if you played and beat the hardest difficulty, you got the little
Adam was Ocelot.
Zero.
Adam was Ocelot.
Yeah, because you're supposed to be.
It's been 20 years. It's been 20 years.
They're remaking this
for
Delta, or they're turning this into Delta for a reason. Okay.
I got 2 more notes. I got 2 more notes on this one.
Yeah, go ahead.
2 notes. The ladder boss fight.
I was about to ask about that. Where does this long ladder come in, and why is it there? On
the boss fight, but
is it right after the pain?
Yes, because you finish, you go through the tunnel, and then you start climbing it, and then you start to hear the opening theme play again.
I'm still in a dream, Snake Eater. And I think this is Kojima fucking with you again, because there's no reason for this. There's no reason for this ladder. Like, you're not loading the next area. Again, it's been 20 years, but I don't think the next area is like a big loading area, like a big area that it's loading. But I mean, at that point, you get into the more industrial part of the game. But Kojima, it's just Kojima fucking with us. Like, because I remember as a kid, like, when's this ladder gonna end? And then another memory is an early scene. I think it's one of the first scenes where you meet Eva. And Snake will not shut the fuck up about his gun. He describes everything. The handle's got a Kevlar finish.
And isn't he using the knife to like trim up the sides to give it more of a slimmer profile.
Yeah, and he's smoking a fucking cigar the whole time he's talking.
Yeah.
It's just cheesy. It's almost Tarantino-esque, this gun scene that I'm thinking of. I might have to send that to you, Ryan, because
Please do.
It's
Please
something
do.
that has stuck with me for 20 years, and I'm like, this guy really loves this fucking gun. Like, there's this half, and I remember, again, this is 20 years, so I'm almost a teenager. Like, there's this half-naked lady over here, and he won't stop talking about the gun. What's going on?
Oh, is this the gun guy you were talking
Revolver
about?
Ocelot? Oh, yeah.
Okay.
This is where he finally gets introduced, because before this, he was using like a Makarov pistol, and he was sliding the rounds into the chamber, and it gets caught, and that's what Snake like stops, and he goes, "Oh, you should be using more like a revolver."
Oh my god!
And then he's like, "Hey, thanks for the tip, man."
Oh my god, the scene, it makes sense. They show that Snake is a gun nerd, so that later on, when Ocelot gets punked, Snake could be like, "Hey, motherfucker, you need to use a revolver." Oh my god, why am I just now realizing this?
Are you being serious? Can't tell if you're fucking with me or
No,
not.
I'm being serious. They set that up just so that pays off later, and then this guy pulls out the revolvers. Oh my god.
It's a question
Josh,
for both of you.
We might have to do a book club on Metal Gear Solid 3.
Is there anything that you wish are there any like gameplay mechanics or anything like that from Metal Gear Solid that you wish just made it into other games?
The camo from 3. I think it's really weird that more games haven't used that. I think because that's the last Metal Gear game we're talking about, because I think 4 has a lot of mess involved with it. And I think 5 is a great game, but I don't think I wouldn't consider it a Metal Gear Solid game.
It's definitely like you can tell that's when where Konami came in and kind of like told Kojima like, "Yeah, fuck no, we're not doing that."
But I do think the camo, like, it's just this great thing where you are, using your environment more. And I think, funny that I'm playing Cocoon, because I think it goes into that, to what I'm talking about here, is that I don't think enough games utilize their environment, instead have a demanding button layout. Playing a lot of Cocoon reminds me, like, it had me thinking about The Legend of Zelda. It had me thinking about what we're playing it, Death Stranding, and how like complicated things are, and how many buttons I need to remember. And oh, hey, if I want to soothe my BB, I have to hold R1, press up on the D-pad, and then press B to shake. I have to do all this stuff to shake it. Whereas, oh, hey, I changed my outfit, and now I just have to use my environment.
Yeah.
One other system which you'd probably bring into more other games is the hold-up system, where you could sneak up behind an enemy, point your gun at them, and you yell "freeze," and they throw their hands up, and then sometimes they would shake and something would pop out, whether it be an item, or in some cases you could actually take their dog tags, and the dog tags were used it was kind of like their credit system, where you could see everybody who developed the game, and you could collect them.
That's neat. That's really cool.
It was very neat. It was definitely something that was like, oh, that's a thing?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, it's a fucking thing. We should do it.
The only thing you get out of it in Grand Theft Auto is people just wait for you to stop pointing the gun at them and run. Yeah, I think it's weird that like games haven't implemented that, and like where you can shake someone down for something. It's like, no, you can hold them hostage, and then when you stop aiming, they're just gonna run. It's like, no, let me like reach into their pocket and take $1.
Do something.
Do something. Next on the list is not a Metal Gear. This isn't even a video game, because you can't play it anymore. You can't get it unless you have it already. This is PT. This was the Silent Hill playable trailer for the game that would never be. I sadly have never played this. Josh has played this, right?
I have played the shit out of this.
What stands out about this, Josh?
Obviously it's coming from Kojima, and it's very different. We're used to him giving us a Metal Gear, so like an espionage action game, where this is horror, and it's also, we've got our first like big name. He's got Norman Reedus' name on it too. So not only do we have a big name in the industry out there, but we have something Kojima has never really done before.
What year was this? 2014, 2013?
2014, I want to say.
Okay. So yeah, this is coming out. Norman Reedus is probably at his peak Walking Dead popularity.
I don't want to
Spike
blow
show.
past. I don't want to blow past that because wasn't it a big reveal at the end? Like the camera zooms out
Yeah.
and turns around, and it turns out that it's Norman. That was crazy to me.
Another thing that's crazy too is just the amount, for it being a demo, just the amount of content we got from it. Like finding out that the whole time the ghost that is haunting you through all this is actually behind you all of the time.
Mm-hmm.
Well, not that this was the first time Silent Hill did first person, because The Room had aspects of this, but I mean, this was a fully first person experience coming out of Silent Hill. And then, you know, Resident Evil would go on to kind of do the same. Not to say that Resident Evil 7 was like, oh shit, they're doing first person, we got to do it. But like, you know, they probably saw this from each other, and Capcom was like, yeah, you know,
We gotta go back to our horror roots first off.
they're like, fuck, Kojima, yeah. Oh shit, that's spooky. That wasn't there before. You're just in a big square, aren't you? It's just a big square hallway.
So it's it's a ever endlessly looping cycle. You keep going into the same thing, but it changes every interval. And a lot of games, if you look at it as after this has been released, there's a lot of horror games that actually implement this into their games. Like this is like a big takeaway. Even though it's only a demo, it influenced so many different games.
It gets so it gets weirder the more times you go through, right?
Correct.
And you know, you know what? I won't say anything, Ryan. I won't say anything. I won't say anything.
It's okay. It just like you were saying, Josh, like in looking at the footage that we're watching, I'm just recalling how many other games have done similar stuff, probably because this game did it. And that's monumental. Like this shifted the trajectory of the horror genre in games.
And it baffles me that Konami was just like, yeah, fuck it, we don't want to do it anymore. Like, I get being upset with Kojima, but the fact that you don't want to continue this really baffles me.
Well, it's what's really fascinating about Kojima is he's a film buff. He is a film buff. Like he called Snake Plissken in Metal Gear Solid 2 because he loves Escape from New York. And it's funny, I was watching him, he was in the Criterion Closet picking movies. And yeah, I think he picked like 10 movies and 8 of them had to be horror movies. And so like seeing that and knowing that he, you know, was working on this game and then would eventually go on to I think looking at Death Stranding, it's a horror game, right?
I wouldn't say it's Silent Hill horror, but I would say it does kind of grasp on the coattails of horror.
But yeah, but this was also a guy dabbling in horror since the beginning.
Right.
I mean, Metal Gear Solid had Gray Fox and that spooky scene in the hallway. The same with Metal Gear Solid 2 had a similar scene with Vamp that we watched, and I think they had another one actually. Metal Gear Solid 3 had the Sorrow Walk and just other horror aspects in it as well. I can't speak for 4 because it's been so long, and I try to forget 4 a lot of the time.
Didn't 4 have like those weird like humanoid things that were basically not like the walkers?
The Beauty and the Beast or the geckos?
I think is the geckos the smaller ones?
I try to forget Metal Gear Solid 4. Yeah.
That's fair. Well, it's because no one else can play it. Like I said, it's like Twin Snakes. It's stuck on its console and it's never going to get released.
So to just see the man's influence on horror, and it was only a trailer. It was only a playable trailer.
Yeah.
And the amount of people who have recreated this I'm sure it's been done in Dreams. The people who have like recreated it, I'm sure there's a Minecraft version of this, and people who have done it scale for 1-for-1 in other places. It's probably got a Roblox remake in there somewhere.
Those poor children.
Coming soon to Fortnite, because Fortnite's getting more into that stuff. Man, I really am upset. And the fact that Konami took it down. I mean, obviously you have to take it down. But they took it down. And now it's gone. We'll never have it. It's gone.
No, and so we get well, I'll wait until we move on, but
doomed to just have podcasters talk about it. I kind of want to watch the end of this. And it was a short game. It's a short thing.
Oh,
Like,
yeah,
what
it's
is
very
this?
short.
20 minutes?
Yeah.
20 minutes, and people are still talking about it 10 plus years later.
How did you beat it? Do either of you remember how you beat it?
Josh, how does it end?
You got us talking to a microphone, or was that just a rumor?
No, I think that is right. I think you did have to talk through a microphone.
You got to say like, "I'm not afraid anymore,"
I want to say you're right.
which again, something that I don't know that had ever been done before.
I'm scared.
I mean, yeah, there were GameCube games that like used a microphone, but
I'm going to click on the most replayed part of this video. Let's find out what happens. Oh, God. Oh, God. I didn't know. Oh. Oh, I didn't like that. I did not
It's more
like that.
there's more fight than flight in you there, buddy.
If I had my voice, I would have yelled. And last but not least here is a game that we've been talking about on the show for the last month now. Death Stranding.
Obviously, the game we actually got with Norman Reedus instead of PT or Silent Hill.
Again, and this game wasn't received really well out of the gate. And I say what you will, I think people are coming around since the director's cut has come out. I think the people who are like looking at this game and seeing like everyone hold away and like the game calling for everyone to openly communicate, and people who relate it back to everything that happened with COVID, I think those people need to, I don't know, go outside.
Touch grass?
Again, Hideo doesn't have a crystal ball. This is just a man who likes film. And the call for reconnecting is something that you see a lot in film. And, you know, this game was called a walking simulator, and that term's becoming a lot more derogatory the further into the 20s we get. Because, I mean, people look at games like this or Firewatch or what happened or what's eating Gilbert Grape. No, not eating Gilbert Grape. Edith Finch. What remains of Edith Finch. And they call them walking simulators because they're like, oh, nothing's happening. You just walk. You don't really do anything. But it's like, no.
I mean, Elden Ring does the same thing, though. How far do you have to travel before you get like to the next area and do something?
You're fighting people the whole time, though. But
Not necessarily.
The point I'm trying to make is that
seconds.
people call these games walking simulators, but there's stuff going on. Like, you just have to, like, shut up and listen. Shut up and watch what's going on. Like, I'm sorry you want to stab everything you come across or shoot everything you come across, but calm down, bud. Calm down.
Mm-hmm. I'll play devil's advocate.
Let's do it.
Someone far wiser than me who makes games said, stories are for telling, games are for doing. So if you're going to put a story in a game, have me do something.
That's fair.
Okay. Guillermo del Toro. Speaking of story, I can see that sentiment. I can see that side of it, but also, I mean, you are doing in this. You are planning your deliveries. You are planning the weight distribution, the route. It's just a different doing that people aren't used to. Like, people think Hideo Kojima, they're like, okay, I'm going to get all these guns. I'm going to be able to shoot anything that messes with me. Whereas this one's like, okay, I know that this area over here that I need to go through is going to have BTs or is going to have smugglers,
Mules.
which are the mules.
Mules.
So I know it's this way. So I need to go around this thing. And then I know this is really hilly over here, so my bike's not going to be able to climb this hill. So I'm going to need to reroute. And there's water over here, so I'm going to have to build a bridge. But then also it's got you connecting with other players. So I don't know what the reach is. I don't know what the server reach is, but like if someone in another game built a bridge, that bridge may appear in your game. And you can like it, and that's like the main way of connecting with that player. And I'm still working with the ranking system in it, but it's a game that like everything that you were doing feels like it is part of that telling. So that when people call this a walking simulator, I kind of just want to kick them in the nuts.
I got you. Just to be clear, I have no problem with walking simulators. I actually think it's becoming less of a derogatory term because simulator games are becoming so popular, and some people just like simulator games where you walk. Well, and the more good ones that come out helps too. Yeah.
Well, I took your statement as a challenge, and so I was ready to fight. No, it's fascinating because we have walking simulators, and then if you look at like all the games that are coming out here in the next 6 months, we have a bunch of climbing games. So now there's like a bunch of climbing simulators.
Yeah.
It's like, yes, we are moving forward. And
Upward.
you know, we're getting a sequel to this. I think I've said this previously, so I'm not saying something super wise. I have this written. It's written down over here in the corner. But I think you look at this game and you can see the influences from Breath of the Wild. And then you look at Tears of the Kingdom and you can see the influences from Death Stranding.
That's interesting.
Well, there was overlap between all three of them. I'm sure when Breath of the Wild was being worked on, this was also being worked on. And when Tears of the Kingdom was being worked on, this was also being worked on. So there was a little overlap between all three of them. It just worked out like that. Like this probably came at the tail end of Breath, and then Tears came at the tail end of this.
Quick question.
Yeah.
I saw Monster Energy cans. Are there any other sponsors in this game?
Not that I'm aware of, but they're also not in there anymore.
Okay.
I think
this
it's
is an old
called
video. It's Bridges energy drink now. And,
Bridges. It's got the energy.
Yeah. There probably was, honestly, a couple more. I'm sure we could probably look into it, but as of right now, it's not Monster for sure.
There is when you take a shit. By the way, you shit and pee in this game.
And shower.
And shower.
Like by choice? Or
Yes,
does it
by
like
choice.
benefit you?
because
Okay.
it's how you make your grenades.
Okay.
I know it opens,
Yeah.
It opens us
You
up
make
to
shit
so many
grenades. That's
questions.
You
I
make
know.
the chili ring grenades.
I know. But so when you go to take a shit, they block out the view with an ad for Norman Reedus's motorcycle show, which I don't even know if that's on anymore.
It's definitely not on anymore.
It's fun. It's one of those things where it's an ad, but it's also like, okay, that's silly.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. Like the fact that this is getting a sequel, I'm pretty excited for it. If there's one thing Kojima can do, it's sequels.
And I've appreciated this game more now that I've played it. Like, I do agree watching the trailers for it and watching gameplay, I'm like, oh, this looks kind of boring. But now that I'm actually playing it, I'm like, motherfucker, this is actually really good.
I think it looks interesting. I still don't know what this game is. So if you had to like tell me what this game is, like what am I doing?
Right,
Long
we said
story
it's a
short-
walking simulator.
Long story short, you are essentially tasked with connecting all these different bases and all these different groups of people onto basically a giant. Basically, you are the internet company. You're connecting them all to this network so they can communicate and basically just reconnecting the world, or at least the United States.
Yeah, you're the Google Fiber guy.
Yes.
Okay.
You are Sam Porter Bridges.
You are.
Okay.
I mean, just to sum up at the end, Kojima's fucking nuts.
I mean, you gotta think this is him at his peak of like, dude, I can do whatever the fuck I want. No one can tell me no.
Yeah, yeah. He got fuck you money from Sony there at the end. When he left Konami, he started this up, and I think Sony was like, "Oh, hey, give us time exclusive for
Exclusivity,
Death
yeah.
Stranding." Is it on Xbox yet?
No, it's still only PC and PlayStation.
Because it's on PC Game Pass. So I was like, "Wait a minute."
Wait, is it on PC Game Pass? I don't know.
It's on PC Game Pass. Or
Okay,
was
so
at
it may
one
not be
point.
on. It may not be on Xbox then, but it might just be PC.
Okay. Still though, like, cool that he was able to break up. Well, got dumped or however you want to look at it, and then break off and go do his own thing. I
Yeah.
just think he needed a few, not so many yes men around him. I think he's got to be reined in. He definitely has to be reined in a little bit.
Yes.
I remember G4 after that whole split happened and he started his studio. G4 went to go tour his studio, and he basically had like when you walk in the building, everything is just white, like as white as can possibly be. Didn't a statue like come out of the ground?
Yep, something like that. Yep.
And then he wouldn't let them see anything else. I was like,
He's got no chill. He's got no chill.
he's crazy.
That video of him in the Criterion closet was like the most level-headed I've ever seen him.
Hell, I think Norman Reedus actually just for the first time actually visited Kojima at the headquarters.
Or not Kojima. Norman Reedus is so bad at keeping a secret.
Oh yeah.
He basically leaked Death Stranding like a whole 2 or 3 years out. It's my favorite thing about like celebrities getting more into games is that, like, and it's not
They can't get a fucking secret.
it's not the celebrity's fault because the NDAs on these games and what they can and can't say are so ridiculous that by the time that someone can say something, it's been years. And Norman Reedus is just like, yeah, I think we're doing another Death Stranding. But I love them. They're good. They're fun people. Hey, we made it to the end of the episode, and I coughed 150 times, so I apologize to that. I want to thank Ryan again for coming onto the show. Ryan, I appreciate you, man. When I reached out and you were like, I've only played one. I've only played one Kojima game. I was like, you're perfect for this episode. We need you. You're going to lift this episode up above to be better than any other episode. But no, we appreciate you. Where can folks find you on the internet or anywhere, honestly?
You can find me at BlackShinobi956 on everything. If you need help making your game, check out my YouTube. If you want to hang out while I play Mass Effect, check out my Twitch. That's all you need to know. And thank you. Let me say thank you to y'all for having me on. The consistency of smashing game time is incredible. I appreciate your commitment to do this and do it well. So I appreciate both of you.
Oh,
Thanks, man. I'm
stop.
so
We
happy you're
appreciate
saying. I'm so happy you're saying that on my most like sickly episode. Like so many times I lost my voice and was coughing, and I was like, "Oh no, he's gonna be like this dude." But we're glad to have you here. We hope to have you back in the future because we love chatting with you and sitting here with you and talking games, even if you haven't played those games.
He's committed more than Jake, so.
And I hope you stream Signalis. I'm really excited that you're playing that. Hey, you can find me, Nick, at That Kaufman on Twitter. You can also find me at Nick Fat Knight on Twitch and YouTube. Not that I'm doing much over there. I've also got game reviews up on Game Chronicle. Nothing new as of late on there, but we should have a review up for Dune by the time you're hearing this. I swear it will be up either by the time you're hearing this or pretty close. Preview coming up for Last Train Home. And then I've got another review for a game I can't quite talk about yet, but I was hinting at it with the boys here earlier, and it is weird.
It's a spicy one. You're not going to want to miss it.
It is spicy. Josh, where can the people find you?
You can find me anywhere at I'm Josh Saying, and then my most recent review for Void Crew is out now, so gotta look at the list and see what else I want to take, but I'm kind of taking a break right now. I just had a long business trip and just need to relax and catch up on some Death Stranding myself, so...
October is busy. It is busy. Hey, you can find Smashing Game Time anywhere you get your podcast. We're also on YouTube where you can see our beautiful faces. Our faces are up for you to see on there, so go over there and take a look. Again, we are a Trident Network podcast. Go listen to our siblings. Thank you to Alex Marvin Clark for our intro and outro song, Hunt Him Down. I think that is everything. Yeah, that is everything. Hey, this has been Smashing Game Time. I hope you all had a smashing great time. We'll see each and every one of you next time.